Hello everyone and welcome back to the Quake Pro League as I'm with someone who's very dishy. It is 40 and we have got Sparty versus Effortless. No, we have nosfa versus CNZ. I'm going to pick your brains a little bit, 40. How are you feeling?
Pretty good. How are you, Lethal? It's a pleasure to be here.
Always a pleasure, never a chore with you, me old chum. As very excited to see how this pans out. You know, CNZ, he's been looking pretty good for the last few weeks in comparison to all the other weeks combined, and it's kind of, you could say, we've seen that from CNZ quite a lot towards a lot of the end stages. But I want to know how you feel about this matchup, because nosfa's been looking really hot so far, like throughout the entire course of the stage, and CNZ may ride his chocobos just a tad depending on how he comes out the gates in this first map.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a little bit of aggression from nosfa, kind of those swagger-based plays versus CNZ's more calculated, laid-back, almost base-like style defense, but we'll see. CNZ has the ability to play aggressive when he needs to, but I feel like by default he likes to play slow, controlled, and kind of let the opponent hang themselves with their mistakes and over-aggression. But we'll see, because nosfa can hit whatever he wants almost all the time, so that aggression might pay off.
Should be illegal, the amount of stuff he hits from time and time again. But, you know, enough mucking around, enough chatter. We're just going to get straight into it. It is the B stream after all, not the B team. And we're going to see exactly what nosfa's going to get up to with his shenanigans from his lovely POV.
Yep, no frills here. nosfa on the Strog. We got CNZ on the Galena. Already one totem down, trying to build that economy. nosfa is going to be able to slip and slide around and maybe pop that peeker here. Potential for big rockets around the corner, but nothing really lands for either player here as nosfa trying to maintain the position on the mid-ground here. CNC trying to push him off. There's the peek around the corner. Somehow doesn't get damaged, I don't think. Interesting.
Yeah, it definitely is, to say the least. It's still early days. nosfa's picked up the heavy, so CNZ will be backing away to try and find some kind of angle to excel with. But nosfa just having a look around, they're playing a little bit more calculated and slow just to see where he could be. Just taking a huge rocket there from CNZ. Mega will be up the next 5 seconds. Will CNZ be able to come in time to contest it? He will, and comes in at the perfect time. Some great rockets there. CNZ with the first frag.
I think we have to start yelling aggressively, Lethal, as our volumes are a little bit low, but CNZ is not low on the confidence there, as he had perfect timing to take that first frag. nosfa able to clear out some totems, a little bit of face checking for one of them, but ooh, that rocket was almost perfectly timed as nosfa flies by to try and get some rockets so he can play defensive. There's the peeker popped. Good job with the hyper blaster on CNZ's end to make sure that peeker doesn't do a lot of damage. nosfa trying to get in on the mid ground again, and somehow sambaing his way across without getting damage, but no major item for him just quite yet. He is going to drop down on the heavy, maybe give that a steal, but CNZ there to punish.
It's a huge steal indeed from nosfa, as CNZ was more focusing on the damage he could deal rather than the heavy itself. Some good shots there from both players, as CNZ just trying to tickle him a bit here and there with the rockets, but the LGs come out to play. CNZ gets the second frag on the board, had that talent kill just slightly, and picks up the mega, but now is in a little bit of trouble into the stack. It's got something to do in terms of picking up these lights, just waiting for the whereabouts of nosfa as he flanks around into that bedroom. He doesn't actually know about it with his back turns, caught him with his pants down, and that's a lovely way for nosfa to get that first kill on the board.
For those playing the home version, about 120 ping for nosfa, 104 for CNZ. I know someone out there was dying to know. Now you know, the more you know. The shooting star, the shooting rockets from nosfa as he's trying to get in on this mega. CNZ maybe could have stolen that, decides not to. Doesn't want to risk it, but still could be in a bad way here at the heavy. Lethal as the LG fails, but the peeker doesn't want to play, but the rocket, you have one, and he misses with it. No LG cells either. nosfa just wants to make it rain. The shotgun won't land. Not enough damage, rather, as that was so close to being tied at 2.
Oh, that was all about ammo management. Sadly, tried to get the most value possible from that one rocket. Couldn't follow it up. But the main thing is, though, he does pick up that mega. Heavy's coming up any second now, but CNZ's in the perfect position to pick that up. So item, in terms of timings, not heavily segregated. Maybe segregated in favour of nosfa with his mobility of that Strog, but good use of that heavy machine gun. We know how useful it is, especially on corrupted keep. Look at that, a lot of patience over the Pika, doesn't really get too much out of it, just doing a sprinkle of damage with those rockets working over that red room to try and take him down whilst he's sitting on the Mega, just a little bit too late. The Mega's still up, he does jump out of the way of that last rocket and absorbs that totem. So you can see there's, you could say it's keeping the totems in check as well, but it doesn't matter. As already CNZ called from the side once again. nosfa going to see if he can clean it up. Will he be able to? Almost as both of them on equal stack again. This is very close between both these players.
nosfa so smooth you can't even hear him coming, but unfortunately couldn't convert to tie it at 2. But CNZ gets caught on the shotgun blast to the chest. 12 to the chest like Tom Brady. Ties it at 2 and now gets caught out in the red room. The Hyper Blaster is going to be a saving grace as nosfa doesn't want to aggress, doesn't want to give up too much of his stack. He's going to give up the heavy, unfortunately. Big rocket from up above from nosfa. The totem will heal CNZ just a little bit, but nosfa firmly in control, and now CNZ stuck behind the statue, taking a lot of tri-bolt damage. Oh, wow. And nosfa, oh my god! It's only a matter of time here. Surely CNZ will go down, but somehow escapes. Okay, gets planted on the way out. I was gonna say that would be absolutely ludicrous if he made it out of there, Lethal.
Yeah, he took like a 12, a 30, even a 91 with that tri-bolt. As nosfa trying to get away, 11 HP. He's going to continue making that way anyway. Good prediction there just to make sure not to fall straight into the hands of CNZ. But how long is it going to last? He's going to go into the red room to pick up all the health bombers he can. Didn't really check to see if the light was there, but maybe he already knows that it was taken a while ago. Nice little bit of damage with the rockets. Again, it's just a matter of keeping his distance from CNZ. The stack advantage is immense. Picks up the light, trying to pull all the way around to recover from the engagement he had 30 seconds ago. But again, the stack from CNZ, he's laughing right now.
Good job taking care of that totem, and not with his face this time. nosfa still firmly in the lead by 1 as we're rounding the 6-minute mark here, taking a little bit of machine gun damage on the way out, trying to path perfectly to the Mega, but actually backs up and gives away position for the Mega. But CNZ, good read, just chasing, wants to try and get the frag before getting the item. nosfa has the ability to maybe double back, but nothing doing. He cannot go for the heavy as well. So giving up full map control lead. This is going to be a bad way for him. Might be his final resting place, and indeed gets planted, buried by CNZ in the lightning gun.
The LG was so loud, I could barely hear them. It was a big man as the Pika has been taken down, all tied up here. nosfa's going to be the one to engage first, but will he be able to? No, he will not. CNZ survives with 5 HP. Mega comes up right in the nick of time. Heavy will be coming up any second now, and nosfa will be picking that up as well. So items again only segregated slightly more in favor of nosfa for the reasons I mentioned earlier on. As CNZ does have that totem in his back pocket if he needs to use it for mid engagement. Tickles him with the LG, goes back and forth from these doorways. Good use of the heavy machine gun. Good weapon selection overall, really. Takes down the Pika again, and CNZ still can't really fight this. Needs to keep his distance, needs to try and pick up these lights, or maybe even the heavy if he gets the opportunity. But he's actually waiting to see when nosfa goes first before he picks up that light in the red room.
Less than 3 minutes. Pressure on nosfa. Not a whole bunch, but the rocket damage is just so immense from CNZ.
CNZ took a huge amount from that Pika. That was not what he wanted, and the Mega is still up. It's taking a huge amount of damage, actually, as CNZ was lucky enough to get that much damage with those rockets, just trying to keep us away from that Mega. Good LG there to start things off in this next bounce. He's going to finish off. Maybe one more shotgun shot will do it, but we'll use the LG for extra insurance. And now, what is he going to be up to next? Still got 2 minutes left, and with a 2-frag lead, CNZ is going to be looking to try and increase it to secure this first map win. That's if he does, of course. Mega up in the next second. Heavy's coming straight afterwards. Almost a good use for Pika. Doesn't connect, sadly, but again, CNZ has to pick up the light. Still got another totem in his back pocket again. Still, though, nosfa does have the opportunity to come back in this matchup, just a matter of how he wants to go about it.
We see CNZ trying slowly to play this base style of defense. A minute 30 to hang on to the 2-frag lead, putting all the pressure on nosfa. Good cutoff from nosfa, but he takes so much damage. There's the totem to heal CNZ back up. There's the mega swipe from nosfa, but he needs to be quick and try to get this frag, but CNZ quick on the heavy, able to stack back up the rocket through the grate. Not so great as it doesn't land, and CNZ just hanging on right now. He's totally okay with playing this kind of game, forcing nosfa's hand. And unfortunately for nosfa, he's not getting any damage. He's not even getting a glimpse right now, Lethal. Less than a minute to go now as we cross over the 9-minute threshold, and it looks like CNZ might be able to hold on. nosfa needs to make something happen right now.
Trying to do an overstack, but that totem's been taken down now. And it looks like he didn't actually get anything from that last totem, I don't think. I think it was just outside of that radius. And again, nosfa just run into so many traps and can't get anything with this Pika. He had a couple of good ones earlier, but a few it's not really connected as CNZ just keeping his distance with that heavy machine gun. Perfectly understandable. And this is a great way, good defense from CNZ, just trying to dilly-dally around to keep away from nosfa. And it's very difficult with how nosfa plays as well, but nosfa finally took him down. 15 seconds left, has the stack, but where is CNZ? Is directly above him. And now this is where CNZ has to back away. He cannot take this fight. And it's a matter of where it could be. He finds him though. Will he be able to chase him down?
Please.
4 seconds left remaining. No, he does not. And CNZ takes the first game by one measly frag. It was a bit of a shame there, but it's like I said before, it's so tough to keep away from a player like nosfa. And you can see from the damage there, 107 more damage for nosfa. nosfa had 19 items. Actually, to be fair, CNZ had 19 items as well, and very equal in terms of percentage, but looking at 37% LG from nosfa, 1,636 damage there. Good start from both players, and you know, you're talking about pings as well, both around the 100 to 120 mark here. And you'd feel like, you know, it's more in favor of nosfa because he's used to playing at that ping. It's not something CNZ's normally comfortable with, but let's be real, no player's comfortable with 100 plus ping. But you remember, nosfa is kind of his territory, really. He's quite used to it considering from where he's from. But end of the day, CNZ comes out on top in that first frag, sorry, the first map by 1 frag. We'll have to see if CNZ can keep this up going into our next map.
And it's going to be Molten Falls. I mean, as you always say, CNZ's kind of bread and butter. It's going to be Visor for CNZ and Slash for nosfa. So high fly-in action versus vision. And just, again, it lends itself to hyper-defensive play. This might be a rough one for nosfa. If he can get good momentum going with Slash, I think it's going to be fantastic. If not, playing from behind, even with Slash and the mobility, I think it's just going to be tough against Visor and the defense and the stack differentiation.
It's going to be difficult, isn't it? Yeah, you know, I normally talk about Molten Falls and CNZ all the time. Is you can ask for a better duo, really, could you? And that kind of retrospect, he was the kind of guy who created a meta for Molten Falls. He had a high level of consistency back at stage 1, and over time, a lot of the European players in the Pro League managed to catch up and realize exactly what they needed to do to rectify any mistakes on Molten Falls. And now it's pretty much level pegging. But yeah, you're right. There's still his bread and butter coming into this. He's going to be pretty happy with this second map going into it now. There's could be a nice way for him to start things off here at the Quake World Championships.
That would be a really, really nice start for sure. Again, this is still just winner's bracket round of 16. Usually on the B stream, we have the knockout games. Not quite yet. Wait your turn, Twitch chat. We'll get there, all right? Still early days. Still early days.
It certainly is. It is the first match of the B stream. We've still got plenty more to come later on. But I think the next one after this will be Razor versus Cygib, so make sure you stay tuned for that. But just keep both streams open. It's fine. You don't need one.
I was going to say, I'll give people the ESPN update. Cooler is up a map on Dehang. They are 7 minutes in on the second, and it's 2-2 on Corrupted Keep right now.
Doesn't mean pause on us, though. Make sure you keep.
No, don't you dare leave this stream. How dare you? Deary me. But you know what? If that other one does go to a map 3, then you might have time to watch it if CNZ does get a clean sweep here. We'll have to see. Against nosfa, I would say this would be a pretty big upset considering the way CNZ has been playing up to this moment. But I said it before that CNZ has been playing a lot better over the last few weeks in the EU side of the Pro League. But nosfa's improved dramatically over the course of each stage. Yeah, bit by bit. But let's see what happens there. nosfa running the slash and CNZ with the visor, and already CNZ with that first frag. It was a quick one, very premature there, we have to say, 40, and already CNZ looking very good. I swear that's never happened to me before. But yeah, CNZ popping the vision and then just playing super aggressive on that light armor, reading it well, and nosfa gets caught out again, and this is a really, really rough start for nosfa. CNZ, he's not usually one to play that hyper aggressive, but knowing the situation, knowing the spawn, knowing that most players go for the light into the heavy, catches him off guard, and then off the tail end of that, able to add another one to the body count. So big start for CNZ on this one.
He is indeed. CNZ just keeping high ground, dropping down to see if he can get that first initial rail to contest that Mega. He does not. But let's be real though, he wouldn't have picked up that Mega anyway, just wanted to try and pay the consequences of challenging him for that Mega. But he's coming straight in with that slash. That was a very quick attempt. So will he be able to take it down? Yes, he does. And I swear that one more rocket would have maybe taken him out of the map. And now nosfa gets his first frag on the board. And one thing for him is the fact that he does have the mobility to play around with. Seeing on the hourglasses to use that piercing sight to try and keep tabs on the man to find out where he's getting up to in terms of his shenanigans. But nosfa's the one with the high ground, getting ready for this next heavy, which is up in the next 10 seconds. And he's going to be finding out to see if CNZ will challenge him for it.
Posting up above the heavy. Ooh, big rockets as well, able to clean up the heavy easily here. So that rocket will make CNZ scurry away towards the mega. Pick up, not for long. Here's CNZ eating some LG into rockets, but nosfa takes the brunt of it and has to back away. Again, the stack on slash, not so great. So he has to be very careful with his next couple moves, maybe try and play the longer range game off rails. And ooh, CNZ, you see that? The warning shot, the flare gun shot up saying, don't you dare move forward. But CNZ aggressing through the TP, taking some early damage. nosfa going up the jump pad, CNZ caught off guard, and he's gonna get melted here as nosfa has the superior LG in that battle. And he's able to get back to the mega as well. Maybe a rail here, just missing out over his shoulder.
Certainly does, and nosfa just taking another route. Both items again heavily segregated. nosfa seems to be prioritising the heavy here. Seems like both players are. And oh, some good rockets there from nosfa. Great way to clean up CNZ now in the lead. And there's going to see if it can circle his way around to try and catch CNZ off guard after picking up the Mega, and he does. That was a great way to come on in. That last rocket almost cleaned him up, and nosfa just trying to stay alive. It's very wide for CNZ when he went up that jump pad, but he came up at the perfect time. nosfa to do a huge amount of damage. That last rocket definitely going to not do himself justice as CNZ has tied things up. It's been a very messy Molten Tuesday for him.
Yeah, really unfortunate there. nosfa just so close to having enough stack to take these fights, but the differential, excuse me, between the medium and the light is just a little too much for some of these fights. nosfa has to be a little more careful, a little more perfect with his damage before aggressing. But still, all in all, tied 3 apiece. nosfa very speedy, working around the map well. But CNZ also great rails here. Almost hits another one as nosfa backs away. Not today, Disco Lady. CNZ trying to slow things down a little bit here before this next heavy, and nosfa taking a position, ready to punish. Dodging rockets, and he's right on his tail. Lethal, and look at this, 18 HP. Wow, the punish.
Lovely stuff there from CNZ. I like the piercing sight earlier on. He knew that nosfa was railable, and he was going to have the angle, and he knew exactly when he was going to come. It's just for like insurance, really, just to be safe rather than sorry. And he knows that he's going to be the one aggressing towards those hourglasses more than nosfa will. nosfa's dropped all the way down, and Sims is actually chasing him. He could clean them up, and he does, and that means he's going to have a 2-frag lead. Picks up the Mega, and he has plenty of time to go up and contest that heavy, and he has the high ground.
Not looking good. Still halfway through. nosfa does have to be careful. If he gives up one more frag, it could be deadly, because again, off that back of that frag, we've seen CNZ add another body. Big rocket. Oh, wow. The dunks lethal.
Deary me, and look at the stack of CNZ. He can do whatever he feels like now. over the next 30 to 60 seconds. And nosfa's actually found him, but this wasn't the perfect time for him. He's going to get cleaned up beautifully there from CNZ. And what more can you do? But he's going to come up into him again, but luckily for nosfa, he did get that first initial rail. If he did not, it definitely would have been curtains for him.
Momentum firmly against nosfa. Unfortunately, and the Rockets are just so good defensively from CNZ, but he does break the defense, and the shotgun in the air. nosfa making it happen, keeping it close when he needs to.
So must say the LG from nosfa. Super has been good from CNZ considering the hitbox he's going to go for with the slash. And yeah, nosfa now keeping himself in this matchup, keeping it as close and competitive as possible. But one more rail will do it, and CNZ actually gets him using that piercing sight to confirm that frag. And I must say, CNZ looking really good, really fresh here in this first match of the day. And if he takes down nosfa, that's going to give him a huge amount of momentum for the rest of this winners bracket. And definitely an upset, as this is not what nosfa wanted, not the perfect start to his day.
Just having to rub my eyes after that last frag. No idea what's going on anymore, Lethal, as CNZ 3 up. nosfa trying to make the comeback here. There's the speed of the slash as nosfa comes flying in around the corner. Tight turns like Senna. Shaft is pretty good, bullying CNZ off after the mega pickup. Good rail up close, just needs to finish it. Shotgun will do it. Plants him 2 down now, and he's got the rotation off the spawn here. CNZ, though, picks up the rail to defend himself just in the nick of time.
Oh, you could see nosfa was so tempted just to go for it again, but it's all about that discipline. You can't just give away easy frags like that, and he knew full well not to even attempt it, as nosfa now here, there, and absolutely everywhere, just to keep CNZ guessing constantly. And this is the nosfa we know and love. It's taken him a little bit of time to ease himself into this matchup, and this could be the perfect timing. Will he take down CNZ? No, he does not. 9 HP 40 with a couple of minutes left, so nosfa still has a little bit of time.
Unfortunate there was that LG bead was not crisp enough. Maybe a swap to a shotgun would have gotten them frag, but three frags in total to send us into sudden death. Can nosfa do it? It's a matter of 2 minutes now, Lethal, before nosfa potentially gets knocked in to the lower bracket.
Yeah, I feel so for anyone who comes up against any of these two in the losers bracket, considering how well they've started this day off. Minute 45 left. You can tell what CNZ's plan of action is going to be. Just try and time waste as much as possible, and perfectly understand considering all the lights are gone. But some good rockets there. Even though he's been cleaned up, he's already taken a huge amount of damage. As nosfa tanks a lot there, but what a rail. Yeah, exactly that from nosfa. And he's meant to pick up the mega, has plenty of time for the heavy as he sees fit. Realizes for actually CNZ's up there, but how's he going to go about pushing this? Good LG, but the shotgun is just too much for CNZ. And I feel like nosfa assumed he needed to take that risk, but the risk was just too much of a gamble, and sadly for him, he's just another step closer to dropping into that elimination bracket.
Yeah, early on, nosfa dropping into the lowers, 1 minute away. Needs some magic. But CNZ doesn't have to be anywhere near him right now. 50 seconds to close the gap and get 3 frags. LG on LG. CNZ takes his last stance, pops the vision to make sure there's no aggression. And nosfa has to back away and figure out another plan with 40 seconds left, as the heavy is taken from CNZ to add to the stack that nosfa has to burn through.
That's pretty much it now. nosfa, if he gets this frag, he needs to go straight in for the second. He has time, but the problem is the stack is just not going to work out. Yeah, sure, he gets the mega, but he has to take him out ASAP. He finds him though, 40, but CNZ's just dropping all the way down, and he's actually got the piercing sight next 15 seconds. So if even if it did go to sudden death, you could try and find him on the spawn and go for the trade. But yeah, it's going to be way too little too late. Only 5 seconds in it if he takes him down, which he does not. And CNZ wins at 11-8. Already first match on the B stream, and we've got our first upset.
Wow. Yeah, I thought it would go at least all three, but CNZ just a superior play there, unfortunately. The stack really came through for him. nosfa on the Slash, playing that hyper aggression that we see, but just Slash doesn't have the stack to really go toe-to-toe the way that he's used to. Unfortunate, a solid play from nosfa, but he's going to go and start his journey in the lower bracket early during this stage finals.
Yeah, what a shame indeed. But already an upset there, which is, you know, we'll have to see it sometimes. But we know what nosfa's like. He'll come back strong. We know he's going to have to create some kind of Cinderella story if he wants to continue his run here, which is definitely possible nonetheless. But that's the first match all done and dusted. As the next one coming up will be Razy versus Saigib shortly on the B stream. So make sure you guys don't go anywhere, as we'll be back in just a few moments.